How are we doing? Are we live? Can you see me? Hopefully we're good. Hopefully we're good. Hello, my friends. Welcome back. See? This is me. This is who I am. I see 0 viewers, but let's see how it goes. Hello, my friends. I hope we're back. How's the sound? Looks synchronized. Thanks for sticking with me, those of you who are still here. Give it a refresh. Should be back in case. I hope people are back. This is a groove. In fact, kind of obsessed. Hello, hello. Thank you for joining me. We're back with the webcam. See? This is what I mean. I've actually connected my phone's camera to my computer, and I can use it on Discord. So this is kind of one of the most accurate depictions of me you can see online, which makes me equal parts excited but nervous. No, not Droid Cam, actually. Just plain old Windows phone link. Can you believe it? Hair's looking great. Thanks. I cut it. I cut shorter layers into it. I've been conservative. I actually, well, not conservative. This is the boldest I've been, actually. The green is, for anybody who actually doesn't know me in real life, is not real. It's a reflection from my green screen because I've lit myself poorly. It's cool. With Windows Phone Link, I have it on Windows 10, but I'm not sure if you can use the webcam stuff on it or not, but I'm not sure. I haven't tried. But on Windows 11, you can, when you connect your phone to your Windows device or your Windows account, you can activate certain services. Like you can see your photo albums and stuff. It's nice. You can see like your notifications or whatever. It's not bad. I actually really like that tool. But anyway, what were we talking about? I was having a lot of fun with 2XKO. Surprised Windows made a new useful feature. Right. It's definitely hit or miss with some of their utilities, so to speak. But yeah, New York Comic Con was a blast. But yeah, so emblematic of just like, I knew so many people who were there, saw a handful of them. It was cool though. It was very fun. And the social, like, it was very heartwarming in many ways. Ooh. But boy, does my entire body hurt from standing for so long. This could be a little more flattering for me. Hold on 1 second. We're testing, y'all. This is a short stream. 1 second. Hello. Let's see how this goes. I like this a little bit better. It hasn't changed much, but I hope it's not super noticeable. But I like it. This is fire, actually. So, how was CitizenCon? I couldn't pay any attention to it. Are there any good highlights or anything? Like, is there like a recap video I could watch or read? Or what do y'all like most about what you saw? Maybe I could look it up. Good stuff. Nyx is next month. Cool. I bet y'all are excited. I'm not touching it whatsoever. For the first freaking like 6 months of its existence, I bet. There's so much else I want to do. I want to I gotta catch up on all the Onyx missions. I've got to do the worm stuff in Pyro. We just started going to Pyro. I got other stuff to do. I'll wait for all of you junkies to do your part first. Have your fun. That's cool. There's gonna be a raid. See if there's gonna be content and like limited stuff. Well, hopefully it'll be there for a long time. Let's see. You never went back into the mission series after that one day? People say it's not easy to do on your own. Although I've always wanted to try. Not limited, that's good. The Genesis demo was crazy though. What is Genesis? They're also adding a new boss fight? That's exciting stuff actually. You seem like it would be easy to solo. Just gotta be good at avoiding injuries. Maybe. What is Genesis? Let's see. What if I looked up CitizenCon recap? I don't really want to. It's 3 hours. Oh, there are chapter markers. You soloed the 600k mission? Okay. So it's more doable than I thought. Cool. That's pretty nice. Well, maybe not for me if it's too laggy. I don't know. It was kind of laggy when I was trying it. Basically, their Planet Tech for Organics looks as good as Death Stranding 2 now, but the whole planet. Ooh, and so are they introducing more procedurally generated planets now? Hello, I'm back. I'm back with the webcam. Thanks for tuning in. Real scans of the Scottish Highlands. You know what I do have? Okay, wait. What do we got going on here? We have Citizen Con. I saw the actual video itself has chapter markers, so maybe we can skip through it. We could try. What if we tried? Oh, we were really ramping up before my camera froze. Thanks for the 8 of you who are still tuning in. I appreciate you greatly. Let's see. The music is bumping, but let's see what this is about. Audio test, no thank you. Countdown with contest winners, no thank you. Mr. Roberts, Mr. Space.
This year has marked a turning point in Star Citizen's history. We have finally moved past the question of whether we can build an architecture to deliver a universe with incredible detail at massive scale, seamlessly, and where thousands of people can all play together. Server meshing has been working pretty much flawlessly at scale for the past 9 months. It has brought a more populated and active verse with up to 700 players online and in the same space at once. It's greatly increased server performance and delivered a much more responsive player experience. I couldn't be prouder of the team. They delivered something no other online game does presently.
I agree.
There may be other games out there that claim large player counts or even the ability to mesh.
Relax. Like, I agree that server meshing is fire, but like, relax. You're not talking to shareholders right now.
But none do it at our detail, scale, and seamlessness. Of course, there will be continued improvements to server meshing and to Star Engine, but having moved past this last big technological hurdle has allowed us to finally focus on quality of life and stability improvements, something that has long been overdue. We're about to deliver our 9th patch in 10 months, with content that has brought Star Citizen storytelling into new and exciting directions. We pushed more than 24 features and more than 2,000 bug fixes. And while there is still a long way to go, the game has gotten more stable, performant, and fun as a result. We see this in player metrics. More of you play every day. The daily average users is up 45% from last year, and your play time is up 15%. So more people venture out into the verse and stay there longer than ever before. And through all that, we've told the dual stories of the Frontier Fighters Assault on Pyro and the moral compromises being made to combat the regen crisis. Now, as those stories come to a rest for the time being, it's time to look forward to the next chapter of Star Citizen, where the instability in Pyro and the callous actions of some pave the way to new adventures, new locations, and new threats. Last year, we announced our next star system would be Nyx, home to the People's Alliance of Levski and bordering the Vandal threat. Today, we're proud to share that your adventures in Nyx begin not next year, but next month, when Star Citizen's 3rd system comes online in Alpha 4.4. 2 new systems in 1 year. That's only possible because of the tireless work of our development teams, server meshing accelerating what's possible, the support teams behind the scenes, and most importantly, all of you. Now, I do miss that we're not all together under one roof this year, but in many ways, we're more connected than ever. Across the globe, many of you are gathering at watch parties, 9 of them with our developers in attendance, and countless others springing up in communities everywhere, and all happening simultaneously today. So even If we're separated by oceans and continents, we're bound together by the same passion for space, for discovery, and for this incredible universe we're building together. Whether you're at home or alongside your crew at a watch party, grab a drink, sit back, and let us take you inside our up-and-coming plans for the next year of Star Citizen.
Hooray! Let's see what Nick's plans are about. Ooh, okay. Talk to me about Nick's. This is so loud. I'm sorry. That was so ridiculously loud. Okay. Sage, hello! Are you going to DIY? I just learned it's on Sunday. iDrop just told me. I'm excited to go. Orchestra and retainer for trailers. They better have an orchestra and retainer. Let's see.
With
Let's
the
see.
foundational technology now
Okay,
in place,
I'm sorry.
the content development of the game is no longer restricted, allowing us to forge ahead with building out our first 5 star systems. Nyx will see the much-loved Levski landing zone, added
Oh,
back to the base,
Levski!
while also bringing you one of its most iconic landmarks, the Glacium Belt. Here, you'll experience a new combined arms operation that will introduce new factions and new adventures. For you to
Realistic
discover.
goals and
With this
announcements? Oh,
edition
that
of
makes
our
me
third star
happy.
system, we're also going to do something that's at the heart of the entire Star Citizen experience, and that is to build it right in front of you. As we have done this year, with the addition of several major locations, such as the Hathor facility or the Lazarus complex, we will continue to unveil new Nyx content throughout the year. It's a slightly different approach to how we deliver Pyro, but we feel this gets the content into your hands sooner and shows our intent as we continue our march towards 1.0. I'm so incredibly proud of the work our teams have done and are continuing to do, and we're excited to have you on this next step of our journey. And as with any journey in Star Citizen, that begins with a little story.
Story?
In 2025, we introduced 2 major storylines spanning multiple patches, creating a living backbone for adventure across the universe.
Okay.
The first was Pyro Must Burn. It connected Stanton to Pyro and introduced the Frontier Fighters, who are relentless, brutal, and determined to wipe out any threats that cross them. And with this month's release, you'll now take part in the conclusion to that storyline. The second was Science Run Amok, with the Regen Crisis throwing the Empire into chaos, and you all jumping in to help the various corporations respond. Through that journey, we pulled back the curtain on ASD and its shady practices, uncovering long-forgotten Onyx facilities, and met new characters like Dr. Logan Yorit and Detective Arkham
Those are
Malak of the
related?
Hawk
Those are
Agent. And
related
just
stories?
Like the Pyro Must Burn storyline carried us into a new system. Science Run Amok is now setting the stage for Nyx, the next step in the
Oh.
larger story we're telling on the road to 1.0.
You're spoiling
As this new
this
chapter of Star Citizen
freaking
begins, let's hear from just a few of the team
dungeon.
members working to bring this next era of our universe to life.
I understand though. It's not like people watching
When
Citizen
the Nyx system
Connor
was
not
first discovered,
spoiled
the
already.
United Empire of Earth, the UE, came out and did scans and kind of found out that the system wasn't really reset. I mean, planets were too hard to terraform, the resources were too tough to get, so they opened it up. And one company saw opportunity where the UE didn't, QV Planet Services. And so they expanded into the system and tried to mine as much as they could, making a very slim margin by the sheer quantity of resources they were pulling out.
The system itself
Interesting.
sort of ran its course from sort of a large corporate interest perspective, and then was mostly left abandoned.
Now this ended up being the ideal situation for the People's Alliance, who were a group of revolutionaries who were trying to overthrow the dictatorship of the Messer regime that was going on in the Empire at the time.
So they went to the Nyx system and established what became known as Levski. They wanted to make it everything that the UEE wasn't at this time.
They set up what they saw as their ideal society, where everyone's voices would be heard, where everyone would be equal.
Aw.
But they've fallen onto hard times. So Nyx today is kind of at an interesting point in its history. Now that the UEE has kind of transformed itself into a democratic society, what is their role? What are the People's Alliance rebelling against? And they still see the Empire as being inherently unfair. They see their role as still trying to create a free and fair society. But on the other hand, they have more problems than ever, and there's new threats lurking around every corner. And they have to ask, are they prepared to handle that? Or do they need to turn to the UEE for help?
Damn. It's like this
Star
weird
System is
frontier
you approach
communism
it from
though.
kind of 2 angles in a weird way. What is this system bringing to the gallery? How does this new system plug into it, and what does it bring to the table from a sort of a flavor experience? We want to make sure that
Aliens,
whatever it's
aliens.
bringing to the company
Aliens.
is unique and has some flair to it.
So the Nix system is a remote system where people want to go and live free outside of the pressure and influence of the UEE. It's a remote and rugged system with a lot of hostility coming from the ever-present threat of Vanduul.
It's kind of like a frontier-esque thing. It's not lawless like Pyro, it's just kind of out there. Pyro's more like a Mad Max wasteland, and Nix is more like Silverado or like Deadwood, right? It's kind of like a smaller scope.
The emptiness and the loneliness is the defining factor. You're still going to find gangs, you're still going to find hostile presences, but it's where people go if they want to live off the grid.
The People's Alliance is the main peacekeeping force in Nix.
They were unhappy with the direction that the Empire was going under the Messers. They got out. They said, we're just going to start from scratch, build our own society, but build it the way that we think it needs to be built.
They're not perfect. They're just people, but they're doing their best. They want to help keep Nix safe and make it prosper.
They are trying to do the best that they can, but are faced with the realities of dealing with people, which is tricky.
I mean, they
Pyro Star
had
is quite a warm star.
consolidated Outland before
Stanton Star is quite
Starfield
neutral.
existed.
And the Nix is a little bit cooler.
Yeah.
The system has its star, and it has this dark, really, really dense gas sort of
They
nebulous
said
cloud.
Starfield?
And it has
Who?
points of light scattered around it, and those points of light in this gas cloud is really, really hazy. So because Nix is bordering Vanduul space, it was important that we have a gap in the Nix gas cloud where you could sort of just, in between the clouds, see a piece of the Vanduul space. It feels so close that it's even like protruding some red light. The level designers are using it as an actual visual indicator of where to place more dangerous POIs. So if you point your ship in the direction of it, you should find, as we build it out, that you will be in more and more danger. And I think that's really cool.
Yeah, it's kind of fun.
To give more atmosphere, I was testing out adding some sort of
Just
space
like
snowflakes, essentially. So
spatial
when you look towards the
regions.
sun, you can sort of see that sort of like sparkle. But then when you look away from the sun, you'll see the reflections and sort of like little glints of light. For the jump points in Nix, we'll have 2 on this release. We'll have one from Pyro to Nix and one from Stanton to Nix. It should be going from Nix to Castra, but we're essentially bypassing Castra temporarily.
Hey, we want to make sure you can get there any way you want.
Galatian Belt is a huge asteroid belt that
I appreciate
is
that.
in sort of the middle of the system.
Galatian Belt is a combination of a bunch of technologies that we already had. The asteroid fields we use for planetary rings and the gas clouds, and it's combining them to make something completely new that we've just not seen before.
It's full of resources that are still left unharvested because it's kind of a tricky spot for mining. It's not the easiest place to go, but that means that there's still a lot of opportunity for independent miners to go out there.
Mining.
So the rocks in
mining.
Nix are a bit more sharp, like sort of like icy look, rocky, cliff-like, very different from those in the Pyro and the Stanton.
One of the big differences too is all of that extra added movement that just adds a little bit of extra flair.
It's also a good hiding spot for people who are trying to elude capture, maybe set up ambushes, that type of stuff.
Always feel way more interesting flying in those spaces than just
Yeah, that's why I'm
empty
not
void.
And
doing
as we
this.
build out the Glacian Build over the next year, lots of places to put new
I,
content.
I don't want all the hotbeds to be.
Delmar is a very
I don't wanna be
large asteroid
griefed.
in the Glacian Belt that QV
The
Planet
new
Services
stuff.
had built a mining base on that got taken over by the People's Alliance and renamed Levski.
Multi-role, multi-spaceship activity. Ooh,
Levski
okay.
is our first and biggest social outpost for Nix.
I
It's
have
kind of like the place where you stop before you do your panning.
20.
So it's kind of San Francisco before you go out to the gold rush.
I have
It's going
like
to be the central hub
20
for
to 30 minutes
trade,
before I go.
hauling, and all of the commerce
Or I
within
have
Nix,
to leave
and also
to
from
take a
Nix
meeting.
to other systems. But it does have a CD underlayer to it.
Over the years, you're sort of improving the generation method of those asteroids to culminate towards this specific point to make large, explorable location. When you fly towards the Levski, you see this huge gas ring around it, scattered small, mid-sized pieces of the asteroids.
Well, Levski is immediately apparently unique by the fact that it's a facility clamped onto the side of an asteroid. The breathtaking views of looking into the belt instantly gives it a unique charm and flavor.
As you approach, you'll initially see a very
Gorgeous.
dramatic borehole that goes all the way through the asteroid. You'll also see, growing out from there and alongside Levski, there will be landing pads along what I call the spine.
Very cool.
Lots of industrial pipes and transport systems to bring out the refined mining materials when it was a mining station.
Before we were
This is
using
gonna be
actual
your
planets, so
home,
we had all of the
Melchior?
space available to place all of these structures. But now it kind of meant that we had to create an asteroid which has the appropriate size to.
If we took the whole shot
Wow.
of the asteroid, you will see that there is an area to fly underneath. We plan on bringing in Hull C gameplay, so this is exterior cargo elevators. So as a team, you will be able to load and unload cargo.
There's a lot more movement on the exterior, such as the cargo trains
That's
going around
cool.
tracks.
That's
It's now going to
cool.
be fully EVA.
That's
enabled.
cool.
There will be walkways around the main landing zone. to walk
Whoa,
on. You
full
can grab
EVA?
flights, but you can drift off and kind of go wherever you want.
Wow. That's
You can
cool.
explore fully the whole place, which is great.
That is cool. Nice beard. That's cool.
Unlike the majority of anarchists living in Pyro, there are people here in Nyx that care.
It's not a downtrodden or derelict, dilapidated location. It has a sense of order.
But only where the People's Alliance has people living.
We've had Levski before, and we've updated it quite substantially to be more in line with the newer features that have been put in since, but also visually. And there's been a lot of quality of life fixes that we've wanted to add and bring up to like a good standard for Aladdin Zone.
Very cool.
Gracing the main lobby of Levski is a large statue of Anthony Tanaka, who was a child worker.
And was being worked to death, all of them were. And Anthony Tanaka just had a break and just said no, and stood up against the foremen, the supervisors, the managers, the guards, and was killed for it. And so he became a sort of a figurehead.
And kind of was one of the linchpin moments in seeing the fall of the Messer regime.
So if you take the elevator up to the top deck, you'll see the top view and the cargo area as well. So you can go through the cargo shop. You've got your normal kind of cargo needs. You'll have ability to trade.
That's kind of cool though. Like,
buy your tractor beam and
this
other gear
is
that you need.
Pyro
So if you were to
stations,
dine in the
but
system,
cleaned
then
up a
one
little
of the
bit.
places you might come out from is the hospital in Levski, which is called the Mercy Hospital.
So Mercy Hospital is just basically it's a local med station for all the residents of Levski. Anybody
New
traveling through the
Philadelphia.
system, you know, trying to provide
What's
a good
up,
medical
Mike? How
help for
are
people sitting there.
you?
When you arrive at the HAB's location, you'll be presented with a lobby, elevator bank, and then you will take that transit to
Whoa, little
the
rat.
HAB room. So within that room will be pods.
And that's where the original miners would have lived. They're not the nicest, and they're a bit messy, but they're at home. If you head down to the lower view deck, you'll go through
This
into
is
the Grand
Mercy
Barter, which is
Hospital.
your main social and commercial area of Levski.
This is where you will see
Only
market sellers selling their wares.
survivors.
There will be stalls, there will be kind of more embedded shops.
And that includes things like Corderies, which is your armor shop, and also conscientious objects.
Bummed about
weapons.
something? Do you want to
There's
talk
also
about
one
it?
of my favorite places, Cafe Musée, which is where you can go down into some of the more rocky depths and grab yourself a drink, and you never know who you meet down there.
Ooh.
If you explore a bit more around the Grand Barter, there's other routes around and little side passages.
Yes.
There's another shop that's away from that area called Teachers.
Explorable
Teacher ship
climbing
shop
bits.
is basically
Give
where you would go
me.
if you were looking to pick up a used ship, buy some ship parts, fix up your old ship, find some new stuff, sell some scrap.
We've closed up Dumpers Depot for Levski, and everything that used to be sold there will now be sold at Teachers. Another new area, as well as the cargo shop that we've added, is the refinery deck for Levski. That's where you can take your processed goods, not just from Levski, but from the rest of the Nyx system, and refine and sell those goods there. As a lot of the content in the next coming releases for Nyx is going to be mining related. So it's super important that Levski is a really nice hub for mining type of gameplay.
Hooray, mining.
So we're really happy to bring Levski back into the game. It's been gone for quite a few years
Conscientious
now.
I
objects.
think it really
Yeah.
provided a unique environment of it's run down, but the people who live there love it and are working their hardest to make it a great place to live.
This is a location that has a lot of nostalgia for you guys, and we don't want this just to be a re-release. We do want you to go, wow.
It's not going to be as complete as Pyro was when it first came out,
Beautiful.
but it's going to be our first iteration, and you're going to be able to see it grow as we work on it.
Like with everything, we're always learning and improving and finding new ways.
I mean, is there anything more Star Citizen than just building the system while the players watch us build it around them?
Going to add a nice dynamic to Stanton and be a much more calming style system than Pyro.
The people that would have played it before are going to love to see this come back, and people that haven't seen it before, it's going to be a great new location.
This is the first time that I'm going to be able to touch stuff and kind of bring my own content to the game, and that's really exciting to me.
Levski coming back into the game is a huge milestone personally for me. So I worked on the original quite some time ago, so seeing it come back and updated and improved and better is fantastic.
Happy to talk about
So we talked
whatever's
about
got
Levski,
you
we talked about
bummed,
Blazing Belt.
Mike, by
You're
the
probably
way.
asking yourself, what's the new gameplay
I
activity
have
we're gonna do?
another like
So let's find
20,
out.
30
Welcome
minutes
to Nyx
here
is
before I have to
your
take a
first
meeting.
experience in a new space station in a new solar system.
It's a mystery to be solved. There's things for the player to explore and look into. There's going to be some twists and turns, of course, some combat, and if you're lucky enough to survive, maybe some good rewards.
This is basically a continuation of kind of our ASD storyline. So in the closing
Oh.
out what we called our Science Run Amok.
No. No. Live from Manchester, that's cool. Let's talk about Genesis. Let's check out Genesis. I do not want spoilers from the ASD missions. I'm very sorry.
At Cloud Imperium Games, we believe art inspires the best technology.
I
Through
also
the
felt that
development of
way.
Technology, it pushes us to create even better art. When Genesis comes to the
Mike, like you won't even pay for a walk-in and ice cream? Like what happened? You won't pay for like Live music? Like, what happened? You won't go to a happy hour? Is that upset? Is that bad? Like, is that really undoable? Okay.
System universe starting next year. It will change how you experience every world, and not just in the building of the new planets for the next system. We will also go back
Does she
to
need
Stanton
to?
and Pyro and reimagine them.
Does
through the
that like
lens of our
mean
technology.
something to you on an emotional level? For someone to pay for something? For
And
you?
more traditionally,
Okay, but do you have a budget for things to do, fun things to do?
we create slices of biomes, like deserts or forests. This approach moved us forwards and got us this far, but solving the scale was always tricky. And for Star Citizen, we like to do scale on another level. Issues like seeing tiling from our height maps from high altitude, or the unpredictable blending when two biomes connected, were common. But ultimately, things just never felt right. Our worlds were gorgeous, but to us, they still sometimes felt like interpretations. Now, this was a super hard problem, which we needed to solve at the scale the Star System requires. We challenged ourselves to emulate nature in the most believable.
Mike, that's weird. I don't know. I think that's a little weird to like sort of get philosophical about it. If you actually find it fun to get stuff paid for, that's cool. But I think thinking about anybody's net worth when it has to do with romance is weird. In general. Do you know what I mean? I actually think that whole conversation, like, I'm a big fan of people paying for things for me. I'm also a big fan of giving things to people. I find that enriching. I really like knowing what people like and being able to provide that for them. So, like, since both of those experiences are valuable to me, I find myself giving and receiving both often among people I care about. So, it's never that complicated for me. So I think for you to be hung up about her not paying for things, unless you are self-conscious about how much money you make, just say, yo, I'm out of it for this month, but I'll budget this way for next month. And keep thinking about things. Unless you don't find it enriching to pay for her, then reevaluate what you find enriching, I'd say. But like, why does that matter unless you want stuff paid for? Do you want her to pay for things for you?
Believable way, and not just on a planetary scale, but to our level of detail.
Whoa.
With Genesis, we've made a complete paradigm shift.
Excuse me?
Biomes are now created based on the physical data sets.
I'm not going to be able to run this game.
Whenever and wherever the correct
Oh my
criteria is
god,
found.
if only.
So when you see a forest or a meadow, it's no longer because an artist painstakingly crafted it there. It's now because it simply wants to be there. It fits inside.
What do you
our
mean
rules.
wants to be there?
Genesis also ties into our other
Look at the
gameplay systems.
land.
Our new planets are built from the information we create for our different datasets, like height maps, humidity, temperature, soil type, soil amounts, geology erosion data, to name but a few.
What?
This means you can now tell where to find valuable minerals as the geology looks like it would be suitable for it. Where scree piles exist below sheer cliff faces, and where rocks are broken off over time due to erosion. Of course, these new tools still give us the ability to direct the look and feel we want. The attention to detail from the tallest mountain to the smallest flower is still
It's
our
so
core
cute.
DNA.
It's so
With
sweet.
Genesis,
Look at the
we
water.
can now keep that detail-orientated mindset as we focus on the quality, and it provides the quantity.
What, Mike, what I'm saying is if you like to give, that shouldn't make a difference. Like, if you like to give, that shouldn't make a difference. And you should be mindful of your budget. And there's no hard feeling there either. Do you know what I mean? Okay, so like, clearly not her only expectation is that you pay for everything. She has other expectations of you, I'm sure. It's not that I don't think I'm not saying that you're right or wrong necessarily. Like, I don't think I could date somebody that isn't generous, isn't willing to pay for everything for me. Just personally. Just because that kind of giving, that kind of generosity is very valuable to me. But I wouldn't expect him to. But that's not something we even would need to talk about. Because it's not something I would let happen. But also, I wouldn't feel bad if they were like, babe, I hit my entertainment budget for the limit. I hit my date budget for the limit this month. I'll see you later. I'll see you next check. I'm busy. I'm going to put my head down and do work. Like someone could say that to me and I would be understanding. So that's why the whole thing feels weird to me. Like, the fact that you're hung up about it makes me feel like you feel some kind of, you have an expectation of her. At which point then that's fine. But don't make it her fault. You had an expectation of her and she's not like that. I guess that's it. If you can't afford, we'll figure something. But the thing is that, like, if you can't afford it and I can't afford it, there's nothing to figure out. We can't hang out. Right? It's just like, if I'm streaming and you're at work, we can't hang out. Like, you're in a meeting. Like, you can't watch my stream. It's like, So I think it's not that difficult. But this is incredible.
Genesis
Oh my God,
provides our
the
planets with
trees in the
ultimate sense of
water.
exploration and adventure. Discovery in the purest emotional form. We want you to find that perfect.
Right, but if they're not ways that I like, it's not going to make any sense for me to hang out. I'm not going to go into a thing that I don't like to do. It's like if we got free tickets to see U2, I wouldn't go on that date. Respectfully, I don't like U2. I would not have fun at that date. Take someone who would enjoy the band more.
Perfect place with the planets
Discovery in the
providing abundant resource to
purest
harvest.
emotional
This
form.
is a major part of what exploration is for us. We want that feeling of finding a corner of the universe that you'll fall in love with, and where you want to settle down and build your home.
Oh my God, they talked about building. Building mentioned.
What we have built that allows Genesis to realize our vision. As a reminder, some of the visuals you'll see will evolve and change as we continue our technological development and hone in on the final look for Nyx.
Thanks, Ian. So, in case it's not already clear, Genesis is our name for a group of technologies that are improving our ability to build worlds, refining our visual creativity.
He's like, the programmer's like, cool, are the story people done? Yeah.
And ultimately expanding our persistent universe to the scale and quality that we all expect.
I'm never running this on my computer.
How that's continued to evolve since our presentation last year. And instead of just highlighting some really cool biomes that we can create, let's go ahead and show how all this work applies to the upcoming planets of Nyx.
Maybe because they don't know that. Maybe they don't know that. And then you just gently say, I'm sorry, I'm out of budget for going out. But that really is saying that, like, the experience isn't worth paying for. Which can be a little bit insulting, but like,
So there are 3 planets in Nyx. Nyx 3 is a gas giant, and I think it's blue. It's not going to surface. I don't really know.
Great.
Nix 2 is a yellow,
Good
toxic,
programmer.
it's got,
I
high-pressure
like this guy.
atmosphere, and it's like a very volatile planet with high risk-reward gameplay. It's going to have some really interesting biomes for you to discover, but for now, just know it's going to be dangerous, because today we're going to focus on what we consider to be the hero planet of this
I'm a
system.
fan, but I don't have time for that anymore.
Nix 1 has got a rugged, remote beauty. It's got a diverse set of biomes, from weathered
Nice.
rocky mountain ranges to vast sweeping forests and grasslands, and
Gorgeous.
from damp, expansive wetlands to claustrophobic festering swamps. These core biome concepts give us
Dagobah.
a fantastic platform to hone our technology, in some cases because the current tech couldn't do them at all, or because we want to completely step up our game for them. So, let's
Ooh.
approach this planet in
More
much the same way that you
entry
would play
fire.
one from orbit. The orbit appearance
No,
of
hey,
planets going forward is
dude,
far more
hot
tight
dog
than was
cart
present
date
on the
is
surface.
is
Previously, we had
trauma.
different data that drove the
Trauma. From a New Yorker, do not eat the hot dog less on a date. Your stomach will thank you.
orbital and ground coloring. That's because the orbit was designed to look like vegetation that we place on the surface, and the ground coloring was trying to be a mix of soil, rock, and the organic compound coloring that forms the kind of colors there. Now we
Ooh,
author much more of the
muddy.
data in a unified way. When you look at Earth, you see blues and greens for ocean and vegetation, and brown or yellowy tones for sand and soil. We wanted to keep it as simple as that. The same set of textures and data that define the color of the soil, sand, and rock on the ground are used to create the orbital look. We then assess the presence of vegetation and competition between different species on each part of the planet, and use that to blend in tones of green, including variations due to species health and the current season. This creates a far more complete image, and allows you to identify features, geologies, and potential points of interest all the way from space. Let's go down to the surface and start with something closer to what you're used to, but in a whole new light.
No, the nuts are my favorite. I am nuts about nuts. What is it? It's like nuts for nuts or whatever. The carts. Those have always been one of my favorite snacks. JD, he's
When
saying
we
that there's
approach the
there's
surface of
another thing that happened that's bothered him.
the planet, we wanted to start by focusing on just the soil and rock.
Wow, look at this
One of the
guy.
things that was missing from our terrain previously was simply feature complexity. Looking at our contemporaries, we lacked detail at the ground scale. To combat this, we've added a new layer of data. That layer is called the medium tiles. These are intelligently placed on top of the existing 4-kilometer terrain tiles based on slope, soil type, and other erosion data. And these medium tiles don't just create height changes, they also bring in local erosion data both for soil and bedrock size values. And this gives us a whole new level of terrain
Ooh.
detail, of scale, and allows us to create far more unique locations across the planet.
Wow.
So now that we've nailed the surface, let's have a look at adding some rocks. We've now got two major contributors to the rock content of our planets. Firstly, long desired feature, cliffs. We are adding large scale,
Desired?
varied detail to all our cliffs based on the geology at a given location. This adds an exciting new dimension to steep slopes that we simply couldn't get before. The second is a big one for you ground vehicle enthusiasts. Rocks are now found not scattered everywhere, like spilt popcorn at the cinema, but only in places you'd expect to find them, thanks to a brand new rock scattering algorithm that isn't annoying as hell. Using physical data generated for each large and medium tile, now rock distribution makes sense and has a physical basis.
What?
So if you're still crashing into them after this comes out, that's on you. The rock assets themselves have had a glow up too. We now create rock sets related to a particular geology that look like they originated from the same source. And this ties into how we'll be distributing minables in much more interesting ways too.
We've solved it.
So now that our base terrain
They
and
all
rock scattering
played
looks good,
Death
let's
Stranding
add some
and then
vegetations and explore
emailed
some
Robert's
additional ways.
face.
Next one's forests and grasslands are full of trees, various grass species,
Look at the
rock
fog.
formations, and they're found in all sorts of elevations like mountain valleys, open plains, and dense meadows. And when we start to add a bit of fresh water, they begin transitioning into more wetland type biomes. And while forests are super cool, let's focus on the grasslands and wetlands today.
Wow.
So, how are we making these look so
Is
great?
that the cow?
Obviously, we've had grass
Is that
before,
the space
but never
cow we saw
meadows
the
of
other
it.
day?
Because until now, we haven't been able to spawn grass in large enough quantities or effectively represented at distance.
My
so we're
computer's
stepping up our
dying.
game in terms of spawning, shaping, and shading grass. With Genesis, we now leverage GPU spawning to create vast quantities of assets
priced
across
out
all biomes,
of the
whether
GPU
it be dense meadows
spectrum that
or
can
more
run
complex
this game.
collections of ground cover like you can see in these wetlands.
That's it. See you next year.
We are also able to fit our grass tiles to the ground by conforming them to the unique terrain underneath.
This is
Now we
this
can
is
freely
dropping
cover
next month or
complex terrain
whatever.
shapes with grass and ground cover assets, and as a result, they are now gravity aligned, meaning each blade is oriented as you'd expect, not sticking out like before.
Or yeah, who is doing this math? Who who is doing this math?
Next, let's take a look at how we light our
Look
grass.
at the cargo.
Now,
That's
as
so
in real life,
cute.
the shading of a grass blade, or indeed a whole field of grass, is lit very differently to like a flat surface. We now use a solution that shades meadows of grass far more like fur or hair. And this, if you think about it, makes sense. At a distance, a field of grass is far more like a carpet or cloth than a flat surface. This improves how our grass looks from a near perspective, as well as bringing us nicely into how we're solving the distant representation of grass.
I like how some
So,
of the
let's talk
blades
about the
just
distance
like
one.
pop away because of the
One
draw
of our biggest
distance.
achievements with Genesis is allowing us to build beautiful biomes out of flora and geology assets, like a building set. Like, can I say Lego?
No.
Too late. But in the past, this broke down very quickly when objects simply disappeared when viewing the same
Excuse
biome
me?
from 10, 20,
What did he actually say?
Beautiful biomes out of flora and geology assets, like a building set. Like, can I say Lego?
Oh, Lego.
Genesis is allowing us to build beautiful biomes out of flora and geology assets, like a building set. Like, can I say Lego?
No.
Too late. But in the past, this broke down very
What a
quickly
funny
when
guy.
objects simply disappeared when viewing the same biome from 10, 20, 100 kilometers away. Because we don't hide planetary transitions and allow you to view complex regions from very large distances, there are almost infinite perspectives from which you can see a location in Star Citizen. So, how can we afford
That's
to
so
evaluate
lovely.
complex spawning logic at runtime for the entire swathes of the planet? Enter the virtual terrain. Virtual terrain, or VT for short, is how we now cache and represent our terrain at varying scales. This has been the enabler of all of the lovely advances in terrain complexity and asset spawning we've shown so far, and it's also how we now evaluate and represent vegetation from a distance. When creating the VT for each part of the terrain, we assess if vegetation has covered the ground, and if so, what shading should be applied. For all of our biomes, we're now able to use the same shading model for the distant representation as the close-up asset, whether that's our lovely rolling hills, some more dramatic rockscapes, those muggy wetlands,
That's crazy.
or even our festering swamps.
Wetlands,
we
but
didn't forget about the
different
swamps,
lighting.
and they're coming to Nyx 1 as well. Built using the lessons learned and all the technologies we've developed, these swamps now spring into existence from the planetary data. This biome combines all of the elements from the other biomes we've shown you today, from water interaction, denser spawning, unique ground coverage, and I think it creates something really unique.
That's crazy, actually. Ooh, I'm excited. When
Anyway,
does Genesis?
That's our update on the Planet Tech portion of Genesis and how we're using it right now to sculpt the identity of Nyx 1. And I hope you're as excited as we are to explore this and everything we haven't shared yet next year.
Next year, yeah. Okay.
As you can see, Genesis
still
is
have
now
some
inspiring
time left with the
everyone here
game.
to create planets of the quality and believability we've always strived for. A meeting of technology and art that I truly believe will set our worlds apart from anything we've done before. And with that said, let's move on to a little travel between systems, literally.
Rock
Up until now,
cracker.
our mission system has been specific to the star system you're in, meaning a Stanton mission has to take place in the Stanton system, and a Pyro mission has to take place there. We've never been able to link these together, but with the introduction of our third star system, it's time for this to change. And that begins with the introduction of interstellar cargo.
What are you talking about today?
System-to-system hauling missions. Hauling is back.
Everyone said Holly was gone. You guys need to play the game?
These are exactly what they say on the tin. Missions where you're going to start in, say, Stanton and end in Nyx, taking various volumes of cargo between the stations. So there'll be high volumes of cargo that kind of fulfill the purpose for the Hull C and the other series of Hull ships. And there'll be a few sort of more direct routes.
So you might pick up some cargo from Ruin Station in Pyro and go through the jump point to Stanton and drop it off there at one of the Helios.
So if you've never sort of experienced the jump point or going through it, these missions will require you to.
That's kind of cool.
They're no way limited. You can do them in any sort of ship you want, any size of ship. I'll be doing them in my Drake Cutter myself, between Stanton and Nyx.
Just a Drake Cutter.
I've got a few ships, but the Drake Cutter is really cute, so.
Aww.
One thing that we're looking to add with these interstellar missions is scripted combat encounters where you can be attacked by NPC ships. Maybe the mission giver has tipped off some pirates who are looking to get a hold of that cargo, as well as express missions, which means the deadline timers that you're used to in the regular hauling missions might get really tight and you've got to learn to be very fast.
Hate that.
All of the love and care that has gone into hauling missions so far, with the logistical network and making sure they make sense within the themes of the systems, just as much love has gone into the interstellar missions we're making now.
That's quite nice. That looks
At the
so
start
cool.
of the show, we said we was going to build out the Nyx system right in front of you after 4.4 launches next month, and while we want to keep as much of what we're doing behind closed doors so you can discover it for yourself, in-game and on your own, we still are excited to share with you a brief look at one of our up-and-coming locations we're calling Rockcracker.
Ooh.
Okay, so Rockcracker, Jared, is our internal name.
Rockcracker is where you have to crack a rock. It's a big rock. You want more?
So way out into the Keegar Belt, you'll find these old QV break stations.
Is anybody
These are
excited for
originally
this one?
industrial facilities breaking apart large asteroids and mining them down. since they've been mothballed and been left abandoned. So you're going to have to find your way inside, thinking about how do we bring this facility back to life.
That's kind of cool.
It's not just about flipping a switch. As you bring these stations back to life, you'll be lighting the beacon and calling attention to these long-forgotten places.
Ooh.
One of the main features is the laser head, which will require certain things to get working. It's up to you and your friends to find how to get in.
There'll be a variety of options. Whether you're discovering the bowels of the station and mining your way through long-forgotten tunnels, or you're going through the main laser entrance. Now, as you're traversing through the facility, you'll find the old engine room. Now, there may be ways to bring the facility back to life, kickstart the engines, and bring power to different parts of the facility. Maybe eventually bringing the laser back online and cracking some rocks.
The secondary gameplay loop is FPS combat. You're not there by yourself.
There may be squatters and outlaws in these stations trying to stop you from what you want to do.
I like it. I like that scope. Hello. I'm into it. I'm into it, actually.
So you've found these old facilities. You've brought them back to life. You've systematically brought power to various functions of the facility. You've activated the laser. You've fired the laser.
Oh, no shit.
You've broken apart the rock. And then you'll be able to fly your ship inside and see what's there.
Oh, then you go in the rock? That's crazy.
Yeah. You just get into your ship and fly in and start searching around and trying to find the pieces that you want to mine.
Oh, wow. Oh, like you open it into a giant cave. That's fucking
I'm really excited
sick.
about Rock Hacker because it's a sandbox activity. You can kind of go to these whenever you want to.
This content is for players who enjoy mining, who enjoy exploration, investigation, and don't mind a little bit of FPS content while they're there.
But can people just like fly in past you once you've done it and just beat you up?
Kind of like Alan and Mine will crack open and
I feel
show
like
the
that's
secret.
just what's
One
going to end up
presumes you can
happening.
make a decent amount of scratch. Asteroid that's big enough, you fly your spaceship into it.
It wouldn't be worth doing if you couldn't make a good amount of coin. Yeah.
Making promises for the econ team.
Yeah. They've got to balance it.
Huh? Wow.
It's for people who want a lot of
They've
minerals.
gotta balance
When
it.
crafting comes in, when all the other mechanics and features that we want in the game for 1.0 come in, it'll be a place where like
I
an
still gotta
organization
do
or a group of like
Hathor.
5-6 people could come and just get a monumental amount of minerals.
So
Mega
that's
mining.
some of what's coming over the next 12 months. In addition to what we've shown, there'll be new mission packs tailored to the People's Alliance and their struggles. There'll be events that invest you into the evolving storyline of all three systems we'll have in the game. And of course, when we begin populating these with new planets, there'll be a whole host of ground-based POIs, settlements, and structures inhabited by those trying to make their way in the verse. And all of this in service of building star systems that complement the massive corporate yard of Stanton, the lawless ganking of Pyro, and now the new frontier of discovery for the Nyx system. Shall I say ganking?
You already did.
That's sweet. That's really cute. Well, this is a decent place to stop because I do have this meeting at 6. But I kind of want to see some of these ship things. FPS crafting. Siege of Orison? This is kind of cool. Is it like crafting guns? Tactical strike groups. That's neat. Was there anything noteworthy about the guns for y'all, in your opinion? I don't recognize really any of them. Anvil Paladin? Asperia Stinger? Oh, the tactical strike groups are spoilers? Good. New space AK? AK like the gun? Crafting? The Stinger. Alright. Thank you for tuning in. Ooh. Ooh. I'm into that. I'm into that for real. Curious. All right. For now, I'm gonna go to this meeting, but I'm back. Hopefully, I can catch you guys tomorrow at starting earlier. But I'm glad you're still here. Thank you again for the subs. Good luck out there, everybody. Have a good rest of your day. I'll see you soon.